So this, yeah, this, it's quite something, isn't it? It's the genre that this comes from generally, not specifically. I mean, exactly like this movie because I don't think there's many, I mean, generally they tend to be, either more sci-fi or they don't have tend to have any sci-fi at all, just violence. This, of course, combines them and sets it in a gritty hotel-like place, whatever, you know. Yeah. So in a way, it's fairly unique in what it does. Um, now, yeah. Why did it lose money? Uh, hmm, hmm. Well, yeah. I don't know. This genre attracts people who look. Let me just explain first, I suppose, why I like it. I mean, it's not exactly the best thing ever or anything, but you know, um, maybe I don't know. Maybe yeah. I mean, I usually don't even read reviews before I say my thing here. Yeah, but I just thought, I mean, why not? Let's try this first. Yeah, why not? Why not? Maybe I could, better kind of prepare for sort of responding, But responding, I've honestly no idea. Literally, the fourth review, the fourth, right? So this is the fourth highest rated review out of 300 or so. Literally says, why didn't they just do what they did at the very end constantly throughout? In other words, just have a gun, just constantly shoot. Um, so what can I say? These movies, intelligent, violent movies, do not work because the audience is there's no way around the bush here. The audience is brain dead, right? I don't know what else to say, right? So you get absolute thrash, like real absolute thrash, real thrash, right? I mean, someone else, another review actually called this trash. It wasn't even, I mean, as I said, this review. So there are other complaints on the other hand that characters were sort of, yeah, he call them archetypes. It's certainly more valid opinion than they haven't shot a gun constantly. So yeah, I'm just saying, right? Yeah, sure, they were archetypes, and sure enough, as the critics said, Jodie's character was the most brilliant. In fact, indeed. But I'm just saying. I mean, what else do we have? What else was successful in this genre? Not this genre specific, as I said. There aren't many in this genre specifically. There is, cross genres. I mean, you could say maybe Blade Runner is somewhat similar, but it's not really. It's more sci-fi than this, and Blade Runner was more futuristic than this. I mean, nanites are the most futuristic, I think, technology in this movie. Other than that, though, automated surgery is starting to be used. Um, s- Generally, more computerization is used. It's only mostly nanites that aren't really, and they're really very much prototypical. So you see what I mean? So this was, so by all accounts, even if it's just Jodie's character, even if it's just a concept, the damn concept, just it's miles better from most other, let's say, generally violent movies, right? I mean, like, it begins violently, ends violently. I don't let them know what else these people want more than that, right? Oh my goodness! It actually has a script. Wow! What a scandal! You know what I mean? Alright, so as I was going to say, what is the trashiest, the stupidest, the most brainless franchise as it happens? Because of course, the more brainless a movie is, the more money it makes, and the more money it makes, the more likely it is to for there to be more of its kind, right? Oh yeah, of course I'm talking about the goddamn Fallen series, the most brain dead, insane. I don't know, insane in terms of the violence used, but I mean insane also in terms of just brainless, kind of sort of like I have lost all respect for what's it called again? In fact, that's how much respect I've lost for him. I don't even remember his name, but I know that once I somewhat respected him for his role in Phantom of the Opera, but no more, right? Yeah, what was it called? I have no idea. I mean, you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's just this movie. Some movies really just. I mean, I don't understand how the movie going industry, as in how movie go. I don't understand how it all works. As I usually say, even with CGI movies, like what differentiates this from this? Like I would just say, how did Narnia make so much money and not ABC that also use CGI and are very similar plot wise? I don't understand. But this is the worst, I think, in terms of I mean, I'm not saying that Hotel Artemis is the best sort of action movie ever, um, but it's one of the better ones. Uh, and there are others like Limitless that also utilize a similar sort of concept where there's a sort of a semi-futuristic concept used as a basis for the a movie. I mean, in this case, it's more obviously more the technology used in the nurse uses rather than the fact that it's a hotel that caters only for the underground, of course, because I mean, I'm assuming those exist, but not so much the technology. But yeah, Jodie's character was brilliant. So I'm just saying. I mean, even Limitless on its own, though, is certainly better constructed. It's one of my favorite movies, certainly by Bradley Cooper. Well, he doesn't exactly have many. Well, he doesn't generally even play many such characters. Usually, he's in comedies. So anyway, yeah. But well, what is wrong with if you're going to have a violent movie, and violence is generally idiotic and boring in my opinion, unless it, of course, is accompanied by a good story. Like, what the heck is wrong with good stories? I seriously have no idea how people work. Like, do they literally go there? Like, do they if there's a gun firing constantly, like throughout, no one talking at all? What does it get like? Yeah, a billion in revenue. Wow, a gun constantly firing. Wow. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. So all I'm saying is this this was fairly gritty. It did end up being violent, but you know what? Sometimes violent movies can be interesting as well. It reminded me of the likes of just like Fell. There's this comic book called Fell. It's fairly similar, sort of anyway. At least the noir feeling is similar. Not so much the technology. I don't think it had much technology. Um, but yeah, the noir feeling, this grittiness, sometimes, yeah, sometimes, just sometimes. And the storytelling method also was similar to Delay which I've also commented on, and I also think is a violent movie that is interesting. There aren't many of those, and you know what? People can scroll away honestly if The one complaint is honestly that somehow you know what, or maybe I just shouldn't read reviews because it's just, I mean, I don't know what else I'm expecting, honestly. An intelligent, violent movie? Oh yeah, why else would it have not made profit? Oh, and you know what though? The bizarre thing is that, personally, with regards to the average rating, it's fairly similar to what I decided on. So it's not like, in terms of the average rating specifically, very similar. But, in terms of, I suppose, the fact that, in comparison at least, to absolutely brainless series, as I said, like that one, I just, the amount of money brainless movies make is scandalous. Like, just brainless. Like, you don't even need a script writer for them, and yet somehow people like them. Yeah, well, of course, lack of script doesn't necessarily mean that, it's the reason why people like them. I mean, I suspect there is an ulterior motive for some people liking them. Although, yeah, sure enough, just like this person commented here. Yeah, I guess, a bit of a script is a disadvantage in their view, clearly. They'd rather would just watch a gun just firing constantly. No, no people at all. No, no. Like, personally, I don't care too much about people, but, it's, I'm just saying, just, yeah, just, and sure enough, they were somewhat stock characters. But I mean, they, yeah, like, even the most shallow stock character, even any henchman of that last guy there, had more backstory, or at least around as much backstory as the protagonist of the Fallen series has. But I'm just saying, So yeah, this is the problem then, Some people think that, not all characters have backstories, but, Jodie had quite a lot, and her character was brilliant. But then, so in a way, it sort of annoyed both sides of the fence, because somehow it wasn't perfect in some people's eyes, and, which movie is perfect, honestly. But and in other people's eyes, it wasn't dumb enough. So, yeah, I guess, that's the advantage the Fallen series has. It's as dumb as possible. So all the people who like dumb movies, I'm not saying they're dumb. Oh yeah, wait a minute. Yeah, okay, okay. Okay, but anyway, all the people like the movies, love them, and, yeah, yeah. I'm just saying. So, I personally liked it. It might not be as sci-fi as, to be honest, even Blade Runner didn't have that much sci-fi. It had concepts, but then so did this. You know. But I mean, in Blade Runner, star systems were mentioned, the chapter, but they were just mentioned. It's not like they tried to, to venture into them. It's some CGI spaceship or something. Um, I haven't actually seen the latest Blade Runner, so I cannot comment on that specifically. I think some actor here from this movie actually, wasn't it? Yeah, but, I've only seen the original. Yeah. To be honest, it's not even my favorite sci-fi movie, but yeah, it's fairly interesting as well. Very seriously, imagine if somebody actually, I'm sure they did, I'm sure somebody did, but whether it's the fourth most voted on review on IMDb, oh, who knows, it's one of those things, where the dumbest always somehow, yeah, I'm just saying simply, I mean, if somebody actually complained that Blade Runner isn't violent enough, doesn't have a gun constantly firing, then, they're just dumb. They cannot know two ways about it. I mean, Blade Runner obviously isn't about that at all. And what little violence there is, that's not the point at all. The point is the neo noir feeling. Ironically, in a futuristic universe. Now, as I say, this is supposed to be futuristic, but it's not quite. I mean, it's only 10 years in the future when it was made. Of course, currently it's 7 years in the future. Anyway, yeah. So uh, you know, I liked it because the music was also quite catchy. I thought it was pretty cool music, and in fact, I think I've thought this of another movie composed by the same person there, the Red Hot Chili former, I think, member. Yeah, maybe I should check out the band at some point. I don't know because it's quite interesting. I think, of course, when one describes music is interesting, it sort of takes the point away from it. I like the electronica. I think that's what it was mainly about. So yeah, today I watched two office bombs, both of which I thought were better than the profits they made. Of course, not so much the fact that they didn't make profit. See, ultimately, maybe there wasn't enough advertising, or maybe like, like in Pan's case, maybe they misinterpreted the title. They could have even with this case here, they could have just simply, well, not know what Hotel Artemis could be about. I suppose it's could be about anything. Obviously, it doesn't quite tell, doesn't quite advertise the genre, just based on the title, obviously. So it could be anything really. It's not so much the fact that it didn't make much money, but yeah, it's the reason that I didn't even have to read far. I didn't have to read through all 200 reviews. Maybe find one at the bottom that says that this was their reason for not liking it. No, it's the fourth. So I mean, it's clearly a review that many people agree with. That somehow there wasn't enough violence. Huh. And I mean, how many times do I lament the fact that you know I actually don't like violence in violent movies. I watch them exclusively for the story. So I mean, I have to be honest. That really goes for every movie I watch, and I think the story is generally the most important element. So the fact that somebody would actually complain about just almost blows my mind. Like, what the hell is it? But this is the funny thing, right? On the other hand, you could say, like some CGI movies could possibly, like, I don't think I've seen anyone saying, yeah, this is a good movie because the CGI is awesome. No, I got to admit, sometimes I do that myself. Sometimes the CGI, indeed, is better than the story. But, CGI is CGI. It's not just mindless violence. CGI can look cool, can look lovely, can look interesting, can express concepts that don't exist in reality. So, sure enough, I think personally, I think what it could be argued that CGI is certainly more interesting than just brainless violence. I don't know. I mean, how else, violence is just brainless, you know, whether it happens for real or in a movie. It's just unless there's a reason for it, it is just brainless by definition. I mean, if there's just some random violent act in a movie without any reason, then it's brainless. No way to way about it. If somebody is defending themselves, on the other hand, from someone who wants to destroy the world or something, well, I mean, there's a reason, right? So anyway, plot is what it's about, and this had plot, and this was interesting, and I have no idea what anyone is on about, and yeah, Jodie's character was awesome, and that alone, I think, in my opinion, makes the movie awesome as well, along with the music, of course. So yeah, I liked it generally.